Alright, The Ultimate Fighter episode 5, I think we're up to, just wrapped up. I'm gonna be talking about everything that happened. You know, this episode, I was expecting the shove to happen a little bit, but it did not wind up happening. But we have breaking news because next week's episode is going to be the shove between Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor. Obviously, the whole incident that took place in the Octagon where they're, you know, yelling at each other, there was already kind of back and forth this episode. Conor McGregor kind of, you know, picking at Michael Chandler, saying how he's never won a UFC world title. Well, obviously, Conor McGregor has won too. And obviously, Michael Chandler saying, oh, he has won world titles. He has won world titles, obviously referring to the Bellator world title. So Conor obviously getting frustrated with this whole 2-round system, which I'm going to be talking about my opinions on that. But my question today is TUF dead? Because honestly, there isn't anybody talking about this show. I think this is a big missed opportunity. I think the show and how it's ran, I mean, it's a little bit of an outdated format if we're going to be real. And I want to talk about some of the changes I would have made to make TUF not so dead. But anyway, guys, as you guys know, we're trying to hit 20K by the end of the year, so please hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Yeah, without further ado, let's just get into this. Alright, Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler back at it again with The Ultimate Fighter. Now, this is the 5th episode between Vera and Brad Katona. Brad Katona actually won The Ultimate Fighter, and he was in the UFC for a little bit and then got cut, while Vera is the prospect, once again older than the veteran, which is pretty interesting, like 4 years older. This guy was 35. Crazy. I don't know why they're getting these 35-year-olds on the show, and I feel bad saying that, especially this guy, which I'm going to get into in a second. But the thing about this episode that made it pretty interesting and why I was pretty excited for this one is that Brad Katona does train with Conor McGregor outside of The Ultimate Fighter. He is in his gym with John Kavanaugh. So John Kavanaugh actually didn't coach Vera in this matchup, but Conor McGregor was. Conor McGregor is actually giving him some pretty good advice with the calf kick because, you know, obviously Brad Katona has more of a boxing style mixed in with the grappling. So it was just interesting. There was a lot of drama with Brad Katona and his teammates. Obviously, his teammates saying that he's more loyal to the blue team, Conor McGregor's team, giving them information perhaps. At one point, he takes a while to talk to his coaches, and it kind of just helps build fuel to the fire. And basically, you know, Michael Chandler, there seemed to be kind of tension between Michael Chandler and Brad Katona throughout the episode, and probably some behind the scenes stuff that wasn't even probably even shown on the TV, because as we know, The Ultimate Fighter is now known for cutting the best parts and leaving them for the TUF after show for some unknown reason. And the fight starts, and Vera did have some success on the feet, you know, especially with the body kicks and the leg kicks, kind of mixing it up. The guy was a taekwondo type fighter, but honestly, this is probably one of the worst takedown defenses I've seen in TUF history, because anytime Brad Katona wanted to take it to the ground, he just would, and it was like, dude, the guy didn't even seem to know anything about takedown defense. And obviously, he's more of a striker. He's kind of like that Wonder Boy style, even though obviously Wonder Boy has karate and he's more of taekwondo, but he just got taken down, control on the ground. That's what lost in the fight. He lost 2 rounds. The first one was a little bit close. However, I did give it to Brad both rounds, and obviously there was controversy because once again, this is another situation where Conor McGregor would have liked a 3rd round. Now, if there's a 3rd round, I don't think much different would have happened, although in the last fight, I think it would have made a big difference. This fight, however, no, I think that we probably would have saw the same result anyway. I think we would have saw Brad Katona just once again taking him down at will anytime he wanted. And like I said before, Conor McGregor after that was just talking shit to Michael Chandler, asking him how many world titles he's won. Michael Chandler responding many, which obviously he's referring to Bellator, not really UFC. But you could start to see Conor McGregor's frustration, you know? He's lost now 5 in a row. And I did think that this was going to be Conor McGregor's first win. I thought that actually Vera was going to beat Brad Katona, but as you saw, obviously not the case. And next week's episode does seem a lot more interesting. This is going to be Conor McGregor's guy. Conor McGregor's fighter next is going to be training from his actual gym, SBG in Ireland. So this is actually Conor McGregor's real guy, so you could assume that he's going to have a lot of motivation, and we know that Conor McGregor gets really loyal with his teammates, so we're going to see how that goes. And also Michael Chandler's obviously going to be having an opponent against him, and what a lot of us noticed was at the end of the episode, obviously they were showing the coming attractions for the next episode, and we saw that this episode, the next episode coming up, is going to be that shove from Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor about 6 episodes in. And obviously, look, if you guys know anything about the shove and the whole incident, you know, you kind of know already what's going to happen in that episode, especially with the fight. We basically know how the fight is going to end, but I won't spoil it here. If you guys really want to know, I'm sure you guys could go look it up or find it, but I don't want to do too much spoiling here. But my main part of this video, I want to talk about how could we fix The Ultimate Fighter, because let's be honest, this is dead. The first episode had some traction, you know, it was definitely disappointing compared to the other McGregor TUF numbers that happened a long time ago. Obviously now it's on ESPN, which first of all, ESPN is probably one of the least user-friendly apps ever. Like, this thing sucks. I'm gonna be real. Like, ESPN Plus needs, you know, an overhaul. It needs to be more user-friendly if it wants The Ultimate Fighter on there. Like, this thing is connected with Disney. Why not have this on Hulu or Disney Plus? I think you would have definitely saw a lot of people jumping on those platforms, and it just would have been way easier to get to. Like, not a lot of people are down to, you know, download ESPN. It's hard to even use, and that's just a minor detail. I also think at this point we could have the TUF episodes be however long they want if they are on a Hulu type platform, because we don't have to worry about airtime squeezing it into an hour. There's no time that needs to be met. Like, The Ultimate Fighter starts at 10 and needs to end at 11, so you really only have like 42 minutes or so of screen time, obviously the ads being the rest. But if it's on Hulu, if the episode episode runs long because of a fight, it runs long, and we're gonna have less of these cutout parts. And if you think about how TUF is formatted, you know, you at least need about 30 minutes alone dedicated to these fighters. About a 20-minute fight with them walking out, weighing in, and then another 10 minutes of, like, you know, all this dialogue, all this background. So really, you know, at that point you have 15 minutes of just Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler, which, let's be honest, that's why everybody is going to watch, and that was what would have made this fight extremely big. And they've cut out a lot of the best parts because of this, because they need 30 minutes of this fight that a lot of people don't really even care about. So I think the first thing is that you need to put this thing on Hulu. You need to reformat this thing, and just so it could be longer, and make sure you don't have to, you know, meet some sort of deadline of how long the episode is. Another thing is, like I said, more Conor McGregor, more Michael Chandler. Conor McGregor is one of the most entertaining fighters for a reason. In and outside of fighting, you know, obviously he's a very fun guy. You saw in the second episode, I believe, when he was chilling with the guys at the bar in the TUF house when he was getting a haircut and all that. You saw, you know, we need more of that. We need more of those moments. We need more trash talk between him and Michael Chandler. They should have forced more interactions with them. Like in the old Ultimate Fighter, you would have Uriah Faber and Conor McGregor basically next to each other at all times. Like literally every single episode, there was about like a 5-minute period where they were, you know, going back and forth. Those were definitely some of the more memorable moments of TUF. And one of the more memorable moments is, of course, when Conor McGregor and Cody Garbrandt almost got into an altercation when they were alone together. Those are the type of situations you need. I just feel like that this is kind of TUF on just kind of safety mode, like family friendly mode. I just feel like it's not the same as it was. And I'm not trying to say by any stretch of the imagination that TUF was this amazing, wonderful 10 out of 10 show, but it just, I feel like it somehow just got worse. And I will continue to watch it because, you know, I definitely want to be prepared going into that Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler matchup. And, you know, I do like the Ultimate Fighter. I do tend to watch it just because of the fights. I honestly don't mind it. It's basically a fighting reality show. Like, what else could you ask for? But if the goal here is to add more hype for this Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor fight, I don't think it did that at all. Like, I don't think it killed any hype. However, I just really don't think a lot of people are adding hype to this fight. I don't know what the average viewership right now is. We saw the first episode was like 300K or something like that, which wasn't too bad, but I'd only imagine that's going to keep dropping and dropping. Like, I don't think there's so many people that are like, okay, let me tune in. And it's, you know, you could clearly see it because not as many people are even tweeting about the Ultimate Fighter. So like I said, I think you need it on some sort of platform, maybe even like a YouTube sort of deal, which I don't know what, you know, the UFC's deal with ESPN looks like, so I doubt they could just go to YouTube, but even a Hulu or something like that, something that's just connected under the same branch, because it's just, ESPN sucks. Like, the app sucks. Nobody has cable, so you're basically just have to use this ESPN app, and it's complete trash. Like, please, can we all agree that ESPN, the app, sucks on like a PlayStation or Roku or even your phone? It just sucks. I would say it's like bearable if you're watching it on a computer, but if you're watching it anywhere else, it sucks. And at the end of the day, how many casual fans are really invested in the Ultimate Fighter? So you want to make it as easy for them as possible to watch. So I think that would have definitely helped. I think if each episode was like longer and had more parts with Conor McGregor, I think a lot of people would be watching. And if it had a lot of trash talk between Michael Chandler, which that is the third thing, to be fair, which is something outside of the Ultimate Fighter's control at this point, which they could have chose a different guy, but I think Michael Chandler is not the guy to be coaching besides Conor McGregor. You see in a lot of their interactions, you know, Michael Chandler kind of seems a little passive aggressive. Even with the whole Brad Katona situation, it's not like he's outright saying his opinion, where Conor McGregor is the opposite. He is a guy that'll say what he thinks at all times. But Michael Chandler isn't the type to bark back at Conor McGregor. We saw that in this episode where Conor McGregor is talking about how many world titles you have. His response was saying, oh yeah, he did fight for a world title. It's like, no, we're trying to see some trash talk. Imagine if it was like Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson, literally anybody else in there. They could have done Masvidal, because remember, when they chose Michael Chandler, the Masvidal fight wasn't even made. Or maybe it was just made, but my point is it was months away. Like, they could have chosen Masvidal, and we could have had McGregor and Masvidal, and it would have been a great fight, especially because Masvidal's retired now, so who gives a shit if he loses? So like I said, I think those are my main problems with the Ultimate Fighter, and I just think that anybody else would have been a better person beside Conor McGregor. And no offense to Michael Chandler, I do like Michael Chandler, but is he a showman in the way that he could speak? No, he is a very exciting fighter to watch. I give him that. He's very entertaining. He always goes forward, always puts himself out there, gets finished or finishes or goes through absolute wars like we saw with Justin Gaethje. And I do like the matchup between him and Michael Chandler, but I would have liked someone with more venom. Like a Dustin Poirier would definitely have some decent comeback, or even Justin Gaethje. I can imagine him going crazy with Conor McGregor in there. But I think that's gonna wrap it up here. Let me know what you guys thought of the Ultimate Fighter. I thought this episode was good just because the whole Brad Katona situation, I thought that was kind of carrying the episode, but those are my problems with the Ultimate Fighter. We'll see if it improves. I doubt it. Hopefully, maybe when we get into those later episodes where they might not need so much explanation on who each fighter is, maybe we'll see more of those Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler moments, but for now, we'll have to see. Guys, thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share, and let me know, because right now we're trying to hit 20K by the end of the year, so just please hit the subscribe button. So many of you guys watch and don't hit the subscribe button, so go hit it. You guys are the best fan base in MMA. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.